that you can indeed do it, that you can be a champion in a community like this.
Uh-oh, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Rebel, here we go. Ender TJ, history of the making. Lord, we're 30 seconds away. 99 points. You gotta be kidding me.
That's an alien.
And we are back live here tonight, a part of the Gaming Weekly, presented the Fortnite event. Everybody, of course, getting set to crown new champions. Down the pipeline, we're getting set for that, everybody. This is going to be interesting. We saw Team 1 compete. They scored 3rd place. Now we're getting set for Team 2. Going to do all they can to try to become the team champions by surpassing 3rd place. Can they do so? Hey, everybody, welcome to Gameside. Adrian here at Gameside. My special guest for this evening, of course, the special contributor and commentator. Please welcome none other than my guest, Jay Rourke. Welcome, or Brick, as you would like to be called.
Thank you for
This is going to be absolutely insane, and I'll tell you why, because this is going to be so unorthodox. Pressure begins to mount in due to the fact that a lot of people, at least in this entire team, they're going to have to do all they can, as previously stated, to try to eliminate all the TGW forces, the opponents. That way they can actually surpass 3rd place, so they can actually become the team champions. So, in your estimation, do you have high confidence coming to these two?
I'm not entirely sure. I've seen that Boston wasn't exactly of the highest level, so
No, I'm a
I
veteran.
would also mention they didn't land in the best spot for looting and all sorts of, beginning things. So I'm not entirely sure about this team. I feel like, we haven't seen much of them, so they could honestly surprise us entirely.
Well, good point, partner, but the fact of the matter is, what's going to be interesting about this is, well, one of the best things that you're going to want to do as a team, though, is going to have to try to combat the pressure. Let's not forget, Team 1, of course, was able to score 3rd place, so you best believe these two superstars competing here tonight must have a lot of pressure, because perhaps in the back of their mind, they're thinking, they're beginning to question themselves, can they surpass 3rd place? And you got to believe, Rourke, Brick, if that pressure can actually combat them.
Yes, I mean, they are only a duo, so this could end terribly. They could be completely overwhelmed by possibly another 4-squad game.
Well, you're right. And look at this. The dissection continues as the teammates continue in applying the pressure, eliminating so many opponents and forces. They only have 45 superstars in the entire game. And in fact, they actually only need to knock down 42 in total here tonight. This is all for the championships. In fact, there's only been a few champions in the past in TGW, a total of 2 teams ever becoming a team champion. Rourke, Brick, how important do you think winning a team championship is for you?
I mean, I'd say it's an extremely important feat. It's rather historical in TGW. I mean, seeing as how there have been so little wins so far, this would be quite an accomplishment.
Oh, you're right. And look at this. Indy, though, with a shot. And I like Indy's shot, though. I like his little, with the armor that he's wearing right now. It's actually Master Chief. And how venerable is Master Chief? Master Chief is so known in the Halo series as being one of the greatest heroes of all time. But tonight, though, how symbolic. He could actually be using the power of Master Chief to be a hero here on Fortnite to become the team champion in TGW. And going back to what you said, you're right. It is an accomplishment. It really is going to be an incredible feat to become a team champion. But they got to surpass 3rd place. They only have 39 superstars in the entire map, meaning they have 37 to actually worry and eliminate.
Yes, and I mean, they've already, as a squad, defeated 7 enemies. So, actually, I see that there may be a high probability of them even becoming 1st place.
Yeah, over the next couple of minutes, they're going to have to try to do all they can to try to reassess everything, try to assemble their weapons, try to make sure that they put their strategies into fruition. That way, they can actually increase their chances in becoming the winning team. Here tonight on Fortnite, we know how unpredictable Fortnite can be, and it's one of those times, it's one of those games where you have to have the eyes on the back of your head. That way, you can try to dismantle the opponents. And now the two outside, they were inside the house. They were, of course, strategizing, but now they're outside, and I believe they're out in the open, and this is going to be a turning point here, Brick.
Yes, I mean, they've just eliminated another enemy with ease, I'd say. Both characters with incredible ease, with 100 health.
And now this is going to be the vicious tendencies that these two are going to have to try to apply, and they're going to have to try to radiate throughout the entire game. That way they can actually carry the viciousness, and that way it can help them perhaps be the winning team, and perhaps tonight as well be the team champions.
Exactly. Well said. Only 33 more enemies.
Well, you're right, and let's talk about the mental preparedness when it comes to a game like this and how mentally prepared he had to be. You best believe that perhaps over the past couple of minutes before the game was getting set, that these two are mentally trying to prepare themselves to go into a battle, to go into a war zone here tonight, to become the victory team.
Yes, I mean, they've come in here understanding full well that they could possibly surpass any TGW accomplishment so far. Maybe becoming first, having the most kills in a single game. Who knows?
Yeah.
Especially with them only being a duo, it would be a
don't get sniped.
Yeah, and Brick, you picked a great day to join us here tonight on commentary. The fact that we're going to be declaring team champions for the first time in 2 years. The last time the Gaming Weekly crowned team champions back in 2019. We're 3 superstars back then. Battle, of course, to the very end to become the team champions. At the time they were the team champions, of course, it was held at a bands later on. And now tonight, the vacated titles are at the top to see who's going to be the one acquiring these championship titles.
And I mean, this could be an entirely different outcome, seeing as how it's an entirely different game now.
I got someone.
Most things have been changed quite drastically,
yeah,
so it'll be fun and interesting to see.
I think they're fighting those squads.
Just how this
Hill over
ends.
here, south.
Well, you just hit the nail on the head. But remember, it's going to be unpredictable here over the next few minutes. And this matchup is going to be breaking down. But look at Boston wasting little time. Now beginning to try to actually use his building technique so he can try to create some sort of fort so he can try to deflect the shots and trying to shoot down the opponents. Both Indy and Boston, though, are working heavily as a team using the sniper rifles so they can knock down the opponents. And look at this, the assault continues.
And then they go knocking him down, putting extreme pressure on him. I almost feel bad for the poor man. He didn't stand much of a chance there.
Well, speaking of which, they don't have a chance now. They were crawling for safety, but a shot there to the small of the back, eliminating the opponents right into there. You know, going back to what you were saying, though, again, unpredictability. You have no idea what's going to happen, and this is going to be quite fascinating to witness and transpire, to see what's going to transpire on Fortnite, because there's only 23 superstars that these two have to literally try to dismantle and dissect systematically. And speaking about systematically, these two really have to work together as a cohesive unit, as a well-oiled machine. That way they can systematically pick apart their opponents, and they're really looking quite well this far, breaking. Maybe these two could actually surpass third place.
Yes, and I mean, with the storm here, with them being very close to this, they're obviously going to be under pressure here.
Let's run.
But I believe that they can use this river as a means of travel to quickly get in front of the storm.
And you're right, a tremendous amount of pressure now beginning to build as you saw the entire storm wrapped around the entire frame of both Boston and none other than Indy. And you saw how the storm literally was so quick into things. And these two are making the beeline to try to make it inside the circle. But it is so far away at this juncture. The question is, will they actually make it?
I believe that, actually, just now that I've almost proved my point, that river was imperative in their survival. That gives them... So it gives them a nice speed boost, which will put them ahead of the storm, because I believe the storm now travels at their speed.
Well, for only just a moment, as you saw again, the storm literally occupying the entire body. These two are going to be facing some detriments right now, and the biggest one would be the storm. And you're right, though, the river is going to be the best strategy for these two. They're going to have to try to swim towards the circle, and they made it inside the circle. Great strategy, partner. You mentioned that the river would indeed, the water would actually help them out. They probably listened to you and said, hey, we got to do it this way, and they did. Now they're inside, at least, well, not inside the circle yet, but at least they escaped the storm.
Mm-hmm. And we see now they are vulnerable, however, in this little fort in one spot, seeing as how enemies may come from behind, coming from the storm.
Well, exactly. You're right, but this is going to be the time, though, that these two are going to have to try to sit back for a little bit, try to reassess the situation, try to take a breather, and, of course, analyze the entire scope of things and bandage themselves to aid themselves. And now they're back out in the open, and I believe now the attack may continue on.
Yes, and now they have 45 seconds to get to the next circle.
Yep, that was right.
They're being attacked, getting the pressure put on them.
Oh, my lord. Oh, wait a second. This is going to be another turning point of the matchup. We just saw Indy getting knocked down moments ago, and you're right, the ambush continues on, and out of nowhere, it was an unpredictable ambush now. But look at Boston Port wasting a little time, going after the opponent, and a shot there to the abdominal area. The two went down and out. Boston Port, though, coming to the aid of his fallen partner, and eliminated 2 superstars at this juncture here. Remember, Boston's going to have to do all he can to try to surpass third place as his partner's out of the game. Well, not necessarily out of the game, but at this juncture, he's got it out. Here comes the opponent, though, and another shot again. The opponent went down. Here comes Boston. Here comes Boston.
The one worrying feature here, however, is the storm is approaching about to approach quickly.
And now look at this, systematically putting every strategy into fruition here as his partner, Indy, is literally down, but back up to a vertical base and back up to his feet. And Boston had a great planning, and what a great shot. Well, dismantling 3 superstars here tonight.
Yes, and this will be very, 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 very stressful, seeing as how they have a mountain directly towards the circle, and as the storm is right behind them.
And you're right, and speaking about that, you're right, and speaking about that mountain, who's to say perhaps trajectory is going to be coming into play in just a few moments. But nonetheless, there you see in the screen 10 players remaining right now 9 in total, really 7 that they have to worry about, but they could be the winning team here tonight, and they can secure themselves as the victory team to become the team champions, and they are really in the driver's seat, in control of this entire game. As you see Indy now open up the chest, now picking up some loot. That's going to be quite important.
And so, I mean, Boston actually, Boston really surprised me with that, where he killed all 3 of those enemies. At the beginning of the game,
surprising.
I hadn't thought of him as much of a key player, but now he and Bazooka basically have the same amount of kills. They both contributed.
Well, they do, and they are working together. They're literally going back and forth as a great team. That's great team dynamic, and they have the interesting economy, and they're going to have to continue that. That way, they can secure themselves as a victory, ladies and gentlemen. And I believe they're literally so close, literally, to put it in perspective, fingertips away from becoming the team champions by surpassing 3rd place, Yaeloe, and Cheeseballs perhaps looking on here tonight. And look at this, Boston Port now trying to snipe down the opponent, but the opponent quickly now building so he can actually go inside to avoid the shots. But the shots continue now, destroy the fort. And this is going to be interesting over the next few seconds now as the ambush continues.
Only 4 players remaining, 1 inside trying to get a drop, and the other putting pressure. Indy's down.
Uh-oh, speaking about pressure, you saw how, you're right, Indy is down, and Boston doing the smart thing now, coming out of harm's way, picking up his...
Yes. And this isn't a very important play. Four players, possibly even in one squad, all working together. So this could be an issue.
It could be an issue, but the question is, will this issue perhaps really be the detriment, be the end for these 2? And I gotta say, these 2, though, are able to analyze everything, and I'll get to that in just a minute, because here comes 2 superstars now, and this is going to be the biggest pressure point perhaps in the entire game. The shots raining down, back and forth like a game of checkers, and here we go. Remember, I believe, it's actually, of course, Indy's still alive. Boston Port now getting knocked down. This is not going to be good here. You got to watch out. And this team actually placed 3rd place.
3rd place, well, I mean, personally, I hadn't expected that at all. I'd say for how they managed at the beginning of the game, they've actually done very good. Managing a 3rd place.
Well, you're right. But let me get this straight, though. Team 1 scored 3rd place. Team 2 scored 3rd place. 1 versus Team 2 next week live in the Gaming Weekly. And the 2-on-2 battle, free-for-all style, to see who will become the team champions. These are epic proportions happening now in the Gaming Weekly. You saw the entire shark really catapulting on a CW here. So we saw it moments ago, Brick. We saw the fact that those 2, of course, Boston and of course, none other than Indy, were working well together as a team. Now they're going to have to do all they can to try to work well as a team as well for these 2, Splat and CW.
Yes, I mean, they've already engaged in a battle not even 2 minutes into the match.
Oh, crap.
Uh-oh. You got to watch out here, though. Things are not looking good at this juncture right now. Splat right now is still on his feet, but you got to realize that CW is down.
So that
and
certainly
like
wasn't 3rd place.
No, not at all. They scored 21st place. But hey, listen, you know what? I got to give hats to these 2. These 2 still did a great job. You know how hard it is to be battling in Fortnite.
Yes, especially when you have 2 commentators trying to die. But
Exactly. Nonetheless, though, ladies and gentlemen, we got some breaking news. It looks like Team 1 and Team 2 scoring 3rd place, meaning now it has come down to this. Next week, live in the Gaming Weekly, it will be for the championship on the line. It will be Team 1 versus Team 2. 2 versus 2 battle. The winner of that match will then become the prestigious champion. And Break, it's going to be prestigious indeed.
Yes, I mean, that's
Adrian, I won.
Assuming
I
that
made
they
it.
even place different placements again, or this time. Who knows? If we see another place, that would be quite the show.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be Boston and Indy working together as a team up against Yaeloe and Cheeseballs. It is 2-on-2, and we know for a fact that for the championship on the line, there's going to be a lot of pressure coming in. And you got to believe for the next week, though, Break, these 4 involved are going to have to perhaps maybe practice so they can get the upper hand next week.
Yes, I mean, I can't wait to see what happens next week. That'll be quite the show if they place their game.
Yeah, it is. It is going to be a showing, a great show of display next week live in TGW. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've been saying this over the past couple of weeks, and I'm pretty sure breaking a lot of other people are not going to be agreeing with this, but I talked about it in the previous segment. I talked about the fact that Jacksepticeye is not even a good YouTuber. The fact that Jacksepticeye is another guy out there, just like Corey Kenshin and PewDiePie, who continue to get so many views out of it and subscribers for no reason whenever they're just sitting in their chairs talking about memes and such. The Gaming Weekly's calling out Jacksepticeye as well. Jacksepticeye has now been added to the list as the resistance continues. Just exhale, Mr. Jacksepticeye, if you're watching this video. Probably not, but I'm sure probably one of his fans are. So if you want to debate with us live on air next week, if you believe why Jacksepticeye is a better channel than the Gaming Weekly, we implore any of you to join us live next week in TGW. But going back to the Fortnite event, though, everybody, it is live next week. It is 2v2 style for the Fortnite Championships on the line. Brick, I'm sure you're going to be watching in anticipation.
Yes, I will. And a lot of suspense, too.
Yes, suspense beginning to build, but you gotta believe it's gonna be a great time next week. We'll see you next week live at the Gaming Weekly to see and crown the first ever Fortnite champions for the first time in 2 years.